Alright folks, I just want to give you another little garden update here. So this is my replant, or the second planting of beans. And as you can see, they're doing pretty good. They look like they might produce. They're actually growing much more hardy and nicer than the original planting. But what I want to show you with that original planting was that even though I didn't think they were going to do anything for me, we've got beans. I just checked my calendar today, and this is actually the day I'm supposed to be able to pick the snap peas, beans, for green beans basically, and it looks like I'm going to. I'm really amazed. You can see the blooms on a couple of these guys. They bloom like last Thursday, and then this is Sunday, and boom, we got some beans. So I think I'm gonna get some of these off, probably cook them up tonight, and yeah, I'm real freaking impressed that these guys came out. Now I'm gonna leave some of the beans on the plant, each of the plants, so that they can go to seed basically, because I want to make sure that I get at least as many beans back out as I put in here. And remember, for these 14 plants here, I put in 60 beans, and for the second growth here, I put in 15 plants and got 14. So I need to get at least 75 beans back out of it for planting next year. And just to prove that I can do it, I can make it sustainable. So there's my beans, and there's a little jasmine my wife put in, some aloe vera, which is the miracle. By the way, the jasmine is not edible, at least not to my knowledge yet. I have to look that up. Aloe vera is somewhat edible, but has a lot of medicinal purposes. We've got some chocolate mint here, a little more aloe vera, a little rose bush that's dying. But let's go back over to the other side of the yard. But yeah, even growing in some pretty heavy shade, those beans look like they've come out right in time. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay, you can see my pepper plants. I've given you an update on these guys before, but I think this is just due to overwatering. These poor guys, they're struggling just to stay alive. Then here in the middle we have our fig. That's some ash that we put down this morning. Get some nitrogen out of that, see if the fig can grow a little better. But these two pepper plants, I'm not sure if they're going to live or die. We give them every chance that they can to continue on. But the big deal I want to show, the real update, is look at my squash. We got some blossoms going on in here. We got a blossom going on over there. This guy's already bloomed out and has lost his bloom. And we got lots going on in there, if you can see all that in there. Lots going on with the squash. So I'm real pleased with the squash. Now this tub here, I think last time I showed you, I had gone ahead and just filled the pot in with new soil. And these are my, I'm calling them the long root radishes. They're going to be about 6 to 8 inches in length. Around the edge here we have lettuces growing, and what I've been doing is every day I've been rotating the pot about a quarter turn, so that it kind of gets everything even sunlight. So especially I don't want too much going on or staying under the shade of the squash leaves for too long. Now here's a pepper that's showing a little encouragement, because we got some blooms coming out, so we're probably going to have some peppers growing there. At least I'll know what kind of pepper it is by the end of the growing season. So that's doing pretty good. Over here, this is the radishes that we started with, and a little encouragement right here. That still might be a Brussels sprout, so we're hanging in there. I didn't think those beans were going to make anything, and they did, so hopefully that Brussels sprout will be able to take off and do its thing as well. So we got some radishes. Been having a real problem this year, or it's really my first year trying this, but with caterpillars, they're just in here like crazy. You can see all the chews on the leaves and everything, but we're picking them out as we find them. But the squash seems to get no problem from the caterpillars, which is good. Here's our chard. It was planted last week, and you can see it's starting to come up in a few places here. Real anxious to see how that works, how that grows, if it does well for us. Here's another little surprise. Up top there, you see the cucumber. That one cucumber, and maybe the one in front of it, are starting to show signs that they're wanting to do something. You can see some blooms there. You see some blooms up here. Now back there in the back, there's some blooms that are trying to come out on it. Actually, all of them except for this little guy here have some blooms that are trying to come out. I just don't know if the smaller plants are energized enough, if they have enough stalk, or I don't know if they're a mature enough plant actually to grow the cucumber. So we'll see. Again, our chard. Here we got some more radish. This is the old bell radish, which you can see. There's actually a radish in there. I'm showing you these radishes today. Here's the other pot. There's a nice little radish in there. I'm showing you these guys because they're probably not going to make it through the end of the day. I'm probably going to go ahead and enjoy some of these guys. We've already had 2 out of this pot. 3 out of this pot. They're about the size of a marble and about as hot as a jalapeno. So they probably needed a little more size on them, but I was tired of waiting on them. Back here's our lettuce. We've gone through and had quite a bit of this so far. Over here on this end where it was all shady, that's where we've done another planting of lettuce. We're going to let that come up, and everything's looking good there. Like I said, over on this radish pot around the edge, we've got more lettuce coming up too, because we really like to have our fresh lettuce. So, moving on, we've got the tomato. We got tomatoes there, we got tomatoes there. We've even got some new tomatoes coming on. You can see that guy there. And I have this net on it for a couple of reasons. Well, let's see if you can't. There you go. You can see that tomato. So, and we've got another one I saw over here the other day. Anyway, I'm not going to harp on that too much, but this net, it keeps the squirrels out. Because last year we did try a tomato plant, and about this stage, the squirrels got in there and they would take 1 or 2 bites out of the tomato and leave it hanging on the plant. Oh, there's the other one. And I got tired of feeding the squirrels, there you go, tomatoes. So this year we got this net, and we're making sure that the squirrels don't get in there. So that's nice. Also, again, we have had major caterpillar problems over here, and I think that's because moths and butterflies can land on it. And over here, the moths and butterflies cannot land on it, and so far I have not yet, fingers crossed, I have not yet had one single caterpillar on the tomatoes. So maybe that's something to consider moving forward. We'll see how it goes the rest of the year. And yeah, there's another little tomato back there in the back. These are called Mr. Stripey. I don't know if you can read that or not on the screen, but it's an heirloom tomato. And I'm real anxious to see what it looks like when it finishes off. Down here we have the birdhouse gourds that are coming up. We finally had down here at the bottom, finally had the 4th one come up. And so we're anxious to have those start growing up. We kind of built a little trellis system here out of we had a tent on the back porch that a little gazebo kind of thing that we replaced with a more permanent structure. And so we use these guys, and they'll be the growing trellis. Recycle everything, right? Alrighty, over here we have the blueberries. And we've got a little bit of new growth. We've also got a lot of leaf fungus here that we're trying to control with a natural fungicide, so we'll see how that goes. But all in all, basically we're waiting for next year on these guys, because I just don't think they're going to do anything else this year. They've already gone through their blooming season. But in here, where did we see it? Well, there was a really nice blueberry in there. It looks like somebody might have come along and eaten that. Oh well, but there's a couple other small blueberries on these guys. So we'll just deal with what we got. Sorry about the air conditioner cutting back on, but it is Texas. Over here we have the hyacinth bean, and it's having some struggles, but it looks like it's finally starting to develop a little bit of new growth. So we're going to encourage that. And we also have some beans that we can, I'm going to wait for that to dry out a little more, but we've already taken a few beans here and gotten the seeds out, so we'll see how that goes. So there's that. That's what you've seen in the past, but we have one more thing that you guys haven't seen yet, and that is Malabar spinach. It's very prolific. It's a nice ornamental, but it is also very edible. So it's Malabar red stem spinach. You can look it up. It's listed on some sites as one of the top 5 survival foods out there. So I'd highly recommend those of you who are trying some backyard gardening to give it a shot. But right now, looking back at the garden here, that's about all I have to say today. So hope you guys are having a good one, and I'll let you get back to it. Thanks a lot. And so I just wanted to also just finish the garden update. Wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek of what might be coming up in the near future. I went ahead and acquired 2 barrels from a local store. Have them sitting back here in the back corner of the yard so that they can air out, because it seems like some kind of I don't know, some pickled something. We're thinking it might have been pickled jalapenos that were in these guys. But we got 2 barrels. They look to be about 35 gallons. And that'll make us a nice little 70-gallon rain catchment system once we get it all set up. But doing it on a budget a little bit, you gotta buy what you need in stages, right? Don't have it set up today because I still need to get a diverter, need to buy a first flush or make a first flush diverter, get spigots, get some pipe. Not a whole lot of money, but when you do it all at once, it can add up quickly. So anyway, there's the first glimpse of what is destined to become our rain catchment system. Alright, once again, have a good one.